Imagine planning the happiest day of your life, only to find out the person you're marrying isn't just lying to you. He's laughing behind your back. But instead of crying, I threw him a party. Not just any party. The kind of party that ends careers, destroys reputations, and leaves people whispering your name for years. He thought it was going to be an engagement celebration. But what he didn't know was that it was actually the stage for his public execution. And every single person he cared about, his friends, his family, his boss, they were all invited to watch it happen. You see, the night he betrayed me, he set off a chain reaction. And by the time I was done, there was no way for him to recover. Because when I found out he cheated, I didn't just walk away. I made sure he'd never forget the day he lost me. For 5 years, I thought I knew him. We weren't just lovers. We were a team. We'd built a home together, survived job losses, late nights, and more arguments about laundry than I cared to admit. He was my person. Or at least I thought he was. The first signs were so small, I almost convinced myself they weren't there. Late nights at the office. New cologne I'd never bought for him. A phone that went from lying face up on the table to being glued to his pocket at all times. When I'd ask, he'd smile. That same warm smile I'd fallen for. And say, "Babe, you're imagining things." And I wanted to believe him. God, I wanted to believe him. Then one night, he came home late again. I hugged him, and that's when I smelled it. Not his cologne. Perfume, sweet, expensive. Not mine. I didn't say a word. But in that moment, something inside me cracked. Just a little. The proof came the next morning. His phone buzzed while he was in the shower. Normally, I wouldn't look. But this time, my hand moved before I could stop it. One message. One tiny sentence. "Last night was amazing." That was it. No name, no context. But I didn't need either. Right then, I made a decision. I wasn't going to scream. I wasn't going to cry. I was going to ruin him in a way that would make sure he'd never forget me. And the best part? He'd never see it coming until it was too late. The morning after I saw the message, I woke up before him. Not because I couldn't sleep. I slept better than I had in weeks. There's something liberating about knowing the truth. Once you have it, the guessing, the paranoia, the self-doubt, it all stops. You're no longer looking for answers. You're planning your next move. I made him breakfast. Eggs, toast, coffee exactly the way he likes it. 2 sugars, no cream. He kissed me on the cheek and told me I was the best thing that ever happened to him. I almost laughed. Instead, I smiled. Because now I was the one with the secret. I started with our joint bank account. In the last 3 months, he'd spent over 3,000 euros at restaurants I'd never been to, hotels I'd never stayed in, and luxury stores I'd never heard of. Then I went through his email. He was sloppy. Hotel bookings, receipts, even e-tickets for weekend getaways. A quick password reset, and I had it all. But the real jackpot? Her social media. She loved to post dinner dates, beach selfies, champagne flutes. Never his face, but the watch on his wrist, the one I'd bought him, gave him away. That's when I decided I wouldn't just confront him. I'd put on a show, and he would be the star, whether he wanted to or not. The plan came together almost too easily. I told him we should host an engagement party, a big one. Invite his friends, his family, even his boss. I made it sound romantic, special, a night to remember. He agreed instantly. Why wouldn't he? He loved the spotlight, and he thought he still had me fooled. Over the next few weeks, I collected my ammunition. Screenshots, receipts, photos, all neatly organized into a slideshow. Every smile, every embrace, every moment he'd thought was hidden. I turned them into evidence. And on the night of the party, I'd press play. He thought it was going to be a celebration of our love. But in reality, It was going to be the funeral of his double life. The night finally came. The house smelled of roses, the tables were set with candles, and the champagne was already flowing. I'd spent weeks perfecting every detail. Not because I cared about impressing anyone, but because I wanted him to feel completely safe before I pulled the floor out from under him. He was in his element, laughing, telling stories, introducing me as the love of his life. I smiled, played the perfect fiancé. I shook hands, hugged relatives, even thanked his boss for coming. Inside, my heart was pounding, not with nerves, but with anticipation. At 8:30, I tapped my glass. The room went quiet. I told everyone I'd prepared a slideshow, a little journey through our love story. People smiled. Cameras came out. He slid his arm around me and whispered, "You didn't have to do this." I just smiled and pressed play. The first minute was harmless, the second minute too. But then, the music changed, picture by picture, smile by smile. The truth began to bleed through. A hotel room I'd never been in, dinner for two. His hand, her hand, the watch on his wrist, the same shirt he'd worn the night he said he was working late. Laughter in the room turned into whispers. His smile froze. And then came the texts, screenshot after screenshot. "I miss you already. Last night was amazing." The sound of guests gasping was almost musical. His mother's face went pale. His best friend's jaw clenched. His boss looked disgusted. The final slide was a photo of me, smiling, holding a champagne glass. The words underneath read, "This concludes the engagement of his name and my name. Drinks are still on me." I left the room before he could speak. I didn't need to hear the excuses. The evidence was in their hands, literally. I'd printed copies and placed them in little gift bags for each guest to take home. By the time I got to my car, my phone was buzzing. Friends, family, even his boss, and him, begging me to talk. I turned off my phone. That conversation was over before it even began. That night, he lost his fiancée, his reputation, and, by Monday, his job. And I got my freedom. And one hell of a story. The morning after the party, I woke up in my own apartment. No more shared closets, no more toothbrush next to mine, no more pretending. My phone was a war zone. Missed calls, voice messages, texts. Some were from him. Most were from people who had been at the party. The messages ranged from, "Are you okay?" to, "That was brutal, but he deserved it." Even strangers who'd heard from friends of friends reached out to tell me they'd never seen anything like it. I didn't reply to him. Not once. I didn't need to. The silence said everything. But his life? That was different. 2 days later, his boss called me. Not to defend him, but to thank me. Turns out some of those business trips he'd lied about weren't company approved, and they'd been wondering where the expenses were going. By Friday, he was out of a job. His friends? Half of them stopped talking to him. The other half, well, they stayed, but not without asking questions he couldn't answer. His family? They were polite to him in public, but his mother? She sent me a letter, a handwritten one. She apologized, told me I deserved better. I framed it. And her, the woman he cheated with? She disappeared, deleted her social media, moved back to her hometown. Guess it's harder to enjoy a relationship when the whole world knows how it started. Now I want to hear from you. If you were in my shoes, would you have done the same? Or would your revenge have been even sweeter? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. And if you want more true stories of betrayal, payback, and endings they never saw coming, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications.